Hello, welcome. This is the Resilient Rooster. I'm back with another Yu-Gi-Oh video, and today I'm going to be showcasing Buster Blader. So Buster Blader was one of those original cards that was released during the first era of Yu-Gi-Oh. Within time, there was more support. Our first support was in the Arc V period, and during the Arc V we basically got more synchros and fusions. But when Links came out, it kind of got neutered. But now that there's more Link monsters that can support this deck got a little bit better. So for the most part, a lot of these cards, they have some type of stun. We have the Dragon Buster Destruction Sword, which basically makes it to where your opponent can special summon from the extra deck. And we have the Wizard Buster Destruction Sword, which basically lets your opponent not be able to use cards in their graveyard. The end goal of this deck is basically to summon Buster Blader, the Dragon Destroyer or Swordsman, and what this card does, it changes all Dragon type monster your opponent controls to defense position. Also, their effects are negated, so it's basically like a Buguska. And the one card that basically helps support it is the Buster Dragon. It makes all your opponent monsters a dragon. So if you have these two cards, it basically sets up a lock to where your opponent can't activate anything. To summon your Buster Dragon, it's pretty easy. All you have to do is use the trap card, which is Prolong of the Destruction Swordsman. It basically allows you to use materials from your deck, so that's pretty cool. And then we have Destruction Sword Memories, which basically allows you to special summon the Buster Blader from your graveyard, I believe. So these two basically help the deck a lot. So this is my deck list right now. Feel free to make any changes, and let's get right into the replays. To play this deck at its fullest potential, it involves cards like Needlefiber. Needlefiber is an easy card to summon in this deck. All it requires is 2 monsters, and one of them has to be a tuner. The best tuner to normal summon in this deck is the Buster Whelp, since it lets you add 1 Destruction Sword card. I added the Memories, which I later discarded to special summon the Jet Synchro from the graveyard. Memories lets me fusion summon a Buster Blader from my graveyard, so that's pretty cool. So I was able to make the Skull Dread and fix my hand. I got the World Legacy Inheritor and the Monster Reborn. Both of them lets me revive cards from the graveyard, which is cool. And now this is the part where you go off. You make the Buster Dragon. Buster Dragon revives the Buster Blader. And now I can extend my plays a little bit farther since I had the World Legacy Inheritor. I now got the Buster Blader, and this basically sets up a lock. I have the ability to prevent my opponent from special summoning from the extra deck by equipping it with the sword. And all my opponent cards are now dragons, so they can't use the machine dupe. And I have like complete control since they can't really special summon from the extra deck either. It was kind of a shame that I didn't have a Buster Blader in my graveyard, so I wasn't able to fusion summon from the graveyard. But since I was able to clear their board with the Buster Blader, I was able to attack for game. In this next replay, I'll show a generic 2-card combo. All I require is 1 Buster Whelp and any level 1 monster. You want to normal summon the Buster Whelp, add a Prologue card, that way you can play on your opponent's turn. The Needlefiber gets you a Global, which basically makes E at the end. And now you have this tic-tac-toe formation, and this is basically like a soft lock. Whenever your opponent activates a card effect, you can just chain the Prologue. That way you can special summon both the Buster Blader and the Buster Dragon. Now all your opponent's cards are dragons and they can't activate their effects. It's basically a Buguska. My opponent decided to make their own Buguska, so they sort of locked me out from OTKing them. So I basically had to find a way to maneuver, and I figured out a way to do it. I got Firewall, that way I can bounce the Buguska back, and now I can make the Metatron and just synchro summon to make the Hot Red Dragon Archfiend and just attack for a game. My hand was pretty mediocre. I didn't have access to the Buster Whelp or the trap card. So in this case, I had to go to plan B, which was to make a Skull Dread, and hopefully I draw into the traps. Level 1 are good at spamming, so I was able to get my 4 monsters on the field to make the Skull Dread, and I drew into the Prologue. So now I'm in good condition. They activate their imagination, and now I chain, that way I have that soft lock. I can equip the Buster Blader with the sword, that way they can't special summon from the extra deck. And this basically is a mini lock. As long as they don't have a board wipe, I should be good to go. They pass their turn, and now I have free roam. My Buster Blader can do piercing damage. That means that this 300 is going to be a big beating. I was able to make my Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss, and I was able to attack for game. In this next game, I was playing against Evil Swarm, and my opponent had the Rescue Rabbit. That basically meant that they had the Ophion if they chose to, and they made the Ophion. They had some pretty nasty back row. They had the Strike, and there can only be one. So I was at an uphill battle. I tried to make my way and try to get at Needlefiber, but before I make a Needlefiber, my Sage with Eyes of Blues get striked, so I had to start over from scratch. I got the Needlefiber in the end though, but it took a lot of resource, and I still can't really get over it since it's 2550. I have to make my Skull Dread, but it's only done with 2 materials, so I won't really get the max use of it. So right now I just made the Firewall, that way at least I have 1 disruption. It's not the best disruption, but it's doable. My opponent is also like sort of top decking too, but they were able to get the Steel Swarm Origin, so they have at least a monster that can't be destroyed by battle, and I can't target it either. So I try to make a different approach. I tried to make some plays, but they used their Floodgate, so I'm sort of stuck. So I tried to make my Needlefiber to get into my other plays, but it got striked again. So right now it's just like a back and forth game. But I would say I have some slight advantage since I have the Prologue, which basically sets up my Buster Dragon. I can also summon the Fusion one, but the thing is, you can't attack directly with that card. So even if I did summon it, it wouldn't have been game. I tried to summon my Buster Blader, but this time it gets it got Torrentaled. But as soon as they summon a monster, I finally got the game since I'm able to Fusion Summon from my graveyard, no matter what happens, and just attack the Evil Swarm card for game. In this last replay, I had a pretty decent hand. I had all my starting cards, so I don't need to really search for that many cards. I tried to go to my Needlefiber, but it gets ashed. But I had a backup plan with the Brilliant Fusion, so it was pretty good. I was able to get 4 monsters on the field, that way I can basically summon Skull Dread. I already have my trap card, so all I need is really just the zones. But I was able to draw the Buster Blader with the equip card, so that means I sort of semi-locked my opponent out. They did have the Raigeki, unfortunately, so I lost all my cards that I had. And without link pointers, this card is sort of bad, since you need 2 zones. You need 1 for your Synchro, and you need 1 for your Fusion. In this case, I don't have either, so I only have 1. So all I could do is really just make the Buster Blader, but this card by itself is not good, since you're not playing a Dragon deck, so it's sort of like a weak card. I tried to stop my opponent from getting the ABC Buster Dragon, but they got it anyway. And this is the part where I'm just top decking. I only have 1 Ash, and the Ash doesn't really do much. As soon as they banish it, I'm basically top decking mode, and no matter what card I draw, I probably can't make a play since I ran out of resource. That's it for the Buster Blader replay. If you enjoy it, please leave a like. If you want to see more Yu-Gi-Oh content, please hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.